Have you ever felt like you're doing everything right on your spiritual journey, yet something still feels off? You meditate, you say affirmations, you focus on the positive, but deep down, there's an ache that won't go away. That's where the concept of spiritual bypassing comes in. A subtle but powerful way we unknowingly avoid the hard parts of healing while thinking we're moving forward. In a world that constantly encourages us to think positive and focus on the good, it's easy to fall into this trap of covering up pain instead of confronting it. Spiritual bypassing is when we use spiritual practices to sidestep our emotions and avoid facing deeper wounds. Imagine putting a fresh coat of paint over a cracked wall. It might look fine for a while, but those cracks are still there, waiting to resurface. Today, we're diving deep into this topic to explore if you might be avoiding true healing without even knowing it. So stick with me, and let's unravel the hidden truth behind spiritual bypassing and the path to genuine healing. Let's start by defining what spiritual bypassing really means. Coined by psychologist John Welwood in the 1980s, the term describes using spirituality as a way to avoid dealing with painful emotions, unresolved trauma, or difficult psychological issues. Instead of facing these issues, some people lean on practices like meditation, affirmations, or positive thinking as a means to bypass the discomfort. It's not that these practices are bad. In fact, they're incredible tools when used properly. But when used to escape pain, they become masks, concealing unresolved wounds and blocking our path to true healing. Imagine someone who turns to meditation every time they feel anger or sadness, instead of exploring where these emotions come from. They may feel better temporarily, but the root cause of their pain remains unaddressed. Spiritual bypassing offers temporary relief but robs us of the chance to confront our shadows and heal at the core. So the question is, are we growing, or are we just creating a polished version of ourselves that's still carrying unhealed wounds? Now, how can we recognize if we're engaging in spiritual bypassing? Sometimes it's so subtle we don't even realize we're doing it. Here are some common signs. Avoiding negative emotions. If you find yourself instantly brushing off anger, sadness, or fear, convincing yourself to just stay positive, you might be bypassing these essential feelings. Relying excessively on spiritual practices. Do you meditate or say affirmations anytime discomfort arises, hoping it will go away without addressing it? This reliance can indicate bypassing. Using spiritual beliefs to justify avoidance. Ever said, everything happens for a reason, as a way to avoid facing painful events or conflicts? While this belief can be comforting, using it to ignore real issues is a form of bypassing. Detaching from personal accountability. Believing that external energies are solely responsible for negative situations in your life, instead of looking at your own role or choices, is another sign. These signs aren't meant to judge, but to help us become more aware. Awareness is the first step towards shifting from spiritual bypassing to true, deep healing. Recognizing these tendencies can be uncomfortable, but it's essential for growth. So why is spiritual bypassing a barrier to genuine healing? It's simple. When we bypass, we aren't healing at all. Real healing requires going through, not around, our pain. By avoiding discomfort, we keep these unresolved emotions locked within us, only to resurface later in different forms, maybe as anxiety, stress, or relationship issues. When we take shortcuts in our healing, we create layers of emotional residue that build up over time. By facing our inner shadows directly, we allow ourselves to process, understand, and eventually release these pains. This is the essence of true healing. When we dive into our pain instead of avoiding it, we're embracing growth. It's about taking responsibility for our healing journey, no matter how uncomfortable it might feel. Only then can we experience real freedom from the emotional patterns that weigh us down. Now that we understand spiritual bypassing and why it's holding us back, let's dive into a few more practical steps for genuine healing. Allow yourself to be vulnerable. True healing requires us to be honest with ourselves. It's okay to admit that you're hurt or struggling. Vulnerability is a strength, not a weakness. Opening up to these feelings allows the healing process to begin. Set intentions for healing, not avoidance. The next time you feel the urge to meditate or practice another spiritual routine, take a moment to set a clear intention. Ask yourself, am I doing this to truly heal or to avoid discomfort? Let your intention guide you toward genuine transformation. Embrace the process, not the destination. Remember, healing is a journey, not a quick fix. You don't have to arrive at a place of perfection. Instead, celebrate the small steps you take toward understanding yourself more deeply. Real healing is messy, nonlinear, and imperfect, and that's perfectly okay. These steps empower you to approach healing with honesty and openness, allowing you to move beyond spiritual bypassing and into true, profound transformation. With this approach, every step you take, no matter how small, is a step toward wholeness. Now, let's talk about the impact of embracing true healing compared to relying on spiritual bypassing. When we bypass our pain, we only experience surface-level peace, a temporary calm that fades away whenever life throws us a curveball. But when we confront our emotions head-on, we experience a shift in our entire being. True healing leads to emotional resilience. By facing your wounds, you become stronger and more equipped to handle life's ups and downs. Genuine inner peace. This isn't the fleeting peace that comes from avoiding issues. It's a deep, lasting sense of calm that comes from knowing you've faced your pain and come out stronger. Healthier relationships. When we heal ourselves, we can show up more authentically in our relationships. We're no longer projecting unresolved issues onto others or hiding behind a mask. In contrast, spiritual bypassing only prolongs suffering and limits our ability to experience the fullness of life. It keeps us in a state of avoidance, preventing us from forming real connections with ourselves and with others. So ask yourself, are you ready to let go of the surface and dive into the true depth of healing? If there's one truth about healing, it's that it isn't always easy, comfortable, or quick. Real, lasting healing demands courage, the courage to face the parts of ourselves we often hide away, the bravery to sit with our pain, and the strength to dig beneath the surface. It's tempting to reach for the immediate comfort that spiritual bypassing offers, to use positivity as a shield against discomfort. But think about it. Can true peace ever come from hiding parts of ourselves? Can we genuinely feel whole if we're continually avoiding the wounds that need our attention? Spiritual bypassing is like building a house on shaky foundations. It might hold for a while, but eventually the cracks start to show. And when life tests us, as it always does, those foundations crumble. But when you commit to the journey of true healing, you're not just masking the pain, you're transforming it. You're releasing what no longer serves you and making space for true, deep-rooted peace. Imagine walking through life without the weight of unhealed wounds holding you back, without the constant need to stay positive, to feel okay. Imagine knowing that even when things are difficult, you have the tools, the resilience, and inner strength to move through it authentically. Choosing true healing means embracing every part of yourself, even the parts that feel messy or uncomfortable. It's about creating a foundation of peace that can withstand life's challenges because it's built on authenticity. And when we do this work, we not only heal ourselves, but also change the way we show up for others. Our relationships deepen, our understanding of ourselves grows, and we find a clarity we may not have known was possible. This is the path to genuine freedom, to a life where you don't have to hide any part of yourself to feel whole. So the question remains, are you ready to let go of spiritual bypassing and commit to a life of true healing? Are you willing to go beyond surface-level peace and dive into a journey that, while challenging, promises the kind of transformation that changes everything? Let's be honest, this journey isn't one you have to walk alone. True healing is a path many of us are on, each at different stages, each seeking a peace that feels real. If you're ready to take that first step, then this is your invitation to join us. Hit subscribe and become part of a community that values authenticity, growth, and meaningful transformation. Here, we're committed to moving beyond quick fixes and diving into the real work of healing. We're here to support each other, to share insights, and to hold space for the kind of growth that lasts. Drop a comment below and share your thoughts or experiences with spiritual bypassing. Have you caught yourself using spiritual practices to avoid the harder parts of healing? What steps are you taking toward true healing? By sharing your journey, you might just inspire someone else who's struggling with the same things. Together, we can create a space where healing isn't about perfection or hiding, but about showing up as our whole selves, flaws and all. So, are you ready to transform? To move from avoiding to embracing, from bypassing to true healing? Join us and let's take this journey together. True healing is here, waiting for you to say yes.